Hey there guys, today I'm just going to be painting up this Infernus marine I got for Mini of the Month in my custom chapter scheme. Here's what I've got so far. It's a white with some brown and then some secondary colours like red or in this case orange, which we'll show later. It's basically like a salvaged kind of Space Marine army, but yeah, this is the paint I'll be using for the orange secondary colour. But firstly I started out with a white base coat, just using some Rust-Oleum matte, although it's not quite matte, but that's because it hadn't quite set. I'm going to be starting by using this null oil, which if the camera will focus, it's null oil which I've diluted with some contrast medium and some water and a tiny bit of black paint just to make it last longer. So I'm going to come in here with a big thick brush and just slop this all over the model to get a nice even coverage. I'm just making sure to get everywhere I can across the model to get equal shading so nothing stands out and looks weird. If I missed any spots, I came back and tidied them up and then came in with the brush again to fill all the little vent holes on the flamethrower as well as any additional shading areas. Once that dried, mostly, I decided to start with some of the orange, but since I want to start with a darker tone, I took my Dragon Bright layer paint, added some of Model Air Vallejo Red RLM 23 with some Model Color Vallejo Black just to darken it down a little bit, as well as a little bit of contrast medium just to thin it out and make it coverage better a little bit more. I started slopping this all over the left arm. I'm kind of going with this across my army that their shoulders, some of their armour reflects their original chapter colours. So in this case it would be an orange chapter colour, whether that's, I don't know. I just wanted to do some orange for these guys because, you know, flamethrower. Anyway, once I'd got that mostly on with a coating I liked, I made sure to go back and fill in any other details that I wanted to be orange, like the power pack I think is on the back. Once that was done, I came in with this Dark Oath Flesh contrast paint to act, that is my primary colour, so to speak. Added some technical medium down as an experiment just to see what that would do. Turned out it just made it really thin and light. This could be useful for some things, but in this case I thought it was a bit too, well, it was a bit too thin. I added a bit onto the orange here just to shade it down a bit, which I'll brighten up in later steps. But as I said, since I wasn't happy with that, I added a bit more of the Dark Oath Flesh back to the mix I had and darkened it up in order to hopefully match it more to my original scheme. I'm not too worried about any splotchiness, as chipping will kind of ignore that, and this is more of a tabletop ready scheme more than anything. So I'm just adding one more layer, kind of splotching it on in dabs with the capillary action, spreading it around the surface. Adding some to the handplate there. Anyway, so once that had been dried and all was good, it's looking pretty neat, pretty nice. I'm going to be using just base of the orange, just straight from the pot, watered down a little bit, and a lightened up version of the Dark Oath on a little bit of packing foam, or spongy packing foam kind of thing. This little thing, to spread it around the surface, create some nice blends, highlights, and kind of pseudo chipping and weathering kind of thing. And once I'd done those, I came in with just pure white to add as chipping. I went all across the armour, including any white bits, to brighten up from where the null oil had shaded it. This acts as my chipping. I'm not too bothered if I get big bits, but any bits I don't like I come back in with the original paint, adding more highlights as well as blending to make it fit in. Sorry about the lack of focus first time doing this. Same with the dark oath, just shading it down. Also, I was happy with the level of chipping, as you can see. Ooh, once it focuses. Not too bothered about any overspray, but spilling over the lines, but not too worried. Here I'm coming in with a Tamiya tan colour, a lot watered down to do the head, the skin tones, and then we're moving on to the metals. So I use Balthasar gold, lead belcher, and Retributor armor gold for the metals. I used the Retributor gold as the flamethrower cover part because I wanted to differentiate it from the rest of the gun. I then used the the armor gold color for the Aquila and the canister skull, and then filled in everything with lead belcher for the gun casing and cylinder and the jetpack parts. Once I was happy with that, I came in with this Model Air Vallejo blue through an airbrush, just spraying the tip of the flamethrower to act as like a metal heating effect. Very crude, very small effect, but I think it works quite well. Just making sure to coat it. I got a bit on the leg, but I'm not too worried about that, as later steps will fix that. Anyway, that's how I was looking. Not too happy with it, but we'll see what we can do. I then mixed up some black and white to make some grey for the hand cover, the cover handhold part. I then have this wash mixed up from leftover Agrax Earthshade, black, null oil, and a bit of contrast medium to act as a small wash for all the metallic parts, as well as the handguard, and adding a bit of soot to the end of the flamethrower. I think it worked quite nicely. I also added some to the head to shade it down a bit because it was looking a bit bright, and I just wicked off any I didn't need. Here I am adding it to the jetpack parts at the back to act as a metallic shading. Once that was all done and dried, I came in with a metallic dry brush of the lead belcher again, just over the top of the end of some areas that I dulled down to bring them back a bit, just to brighten them up and add some metal edge wear. Once I was pretty happy with how this was looking, I then moved on to using Dirty Down Moss for my base to make it fit in with the rest of my army. Made sure to heat up the model and the pot just before I did this. Then using an old brush, I just slapped it all over the base, wiping off where it went on the side. And then I watered down my brush and made it a bit, took off any excess and started blending it into the bottom to make him look grounded into the scene. This really doesn't take too long, but yeah, once I was happy with it, I let it dry, and then I put a nice black base rim all around, making sure to get some on the sides to really tie it into the base and make it look like a small scene. And once I was happy with that, that was it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this, do let me know. Obviously it's not perfect, it's kind of rushed. This was more of an experiment more than anything for me, but yeah.